They say, there's a recent poll that came out, and it indicates that Doug Ford's approval rating has soared today from this time last year. Are you buying those numbers, ma'am?
No, I think all the numbers are false.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Toronto. And folks, before I get to the story du jour, please consider contributing to journalistdefensefund.com. That's journalistdefensefund.com. You know we like to tell you the other side of the story. It's just that there are forces afoot that don't want the other side of the story to get out. And sometimes we have to hire security for our own personal protection. Thank you. Well, folks, I'm back here on the lawns of Queen's Park. It is protest number 10 for the self-proclaimed members of Yahoo Nation. They're the ones that are campaigning for the Doug Ford PCs to open the economy as in fully. But an interesting thing, folks, while the people here are very disappointed with Premier Ford's handling of the Wuhan virus in respect to the economy, could it be that other people in Ontario are giving the Premier their seal of approval? Check this out. Recently, a Campaign Research Toronto Star survey found that 53% approved of Ford's performance, while 22% disapproved and 22% had no opinion. The bottom line of these numbers, folks, is the Premier now has an overall approval rating of 31%. That's actually an 80-point swing from this time last year when, believe it or not, Doug Ford's approval rating was negative 49%. That is, of course, if we can believe the pollsters. And as well, on Monday, the Ford PCs will be celebrating their second anniversary as the ruling government. Let's touch base with the rank and file of Yahoo Nation. Let's see what kind of approval rating they give the Doug Ford PCs. And can't wait to see what they say, really, because earlier this week, Premier Ford, and I know they're not going to like this, he yet again extended the emergency orders another 10 days until July 10th. Oh, and that's not to be confused with the state of emergency, folks. That, too, was recently extended until July 15th. It looks like it's going to be a long, joyless summer. Well, we are right now here in Toronto in stage 2. Do you think that's good enough? Do you think the government has expedited the opening of the economy fast enough?
And children's children.
It never should have happened to begin with.
In the whole lockdown, there was no evidence to support that a lockdown would be beneficial, that would prevent deaths. No one's talking about the lockdown causing deaths.
I know hundreds of nurses actually, and what I know that no one nurse was sick of COVID. Like no one nurse, what I know, was on a ventilator. We're taking care of the same patients we were taking always with the cancer, COPD, other degenerative disease, and we're doing a great job. But really, it's what we see, it's like pandemic, like bodies dying, people from COVID. Actually, they dying maybe with COVID, with COVID positive.
We are losing ground under our knees and our legs. And I came here 17 years ago for beautiful country, and I see how changed for those 17 years, not 17, probably 10 years ago, it starts be very restrictive and very misleading everything.
There was a poll that came out from Campaign Research in the Toronto Star showing that Doug Ford's approval rating is soaring. Do you think the pollsters have this right, or is there something else afoot here?
No, first of all, I don't understand these polls because I've never taken a poll in my life. Who are they talking to?
Are you buying those numbers?
I guess two-part answer. One is won't be surprising. Second, no, I don't buy it.
Are you buying those numbers?
Not at all. No. The numbers are always fake. Anything involving the government nowadays, you don't want to believe them.
No, I don't see how
how it would go up. He's left everyone in the dark.
So typically with the polls, they're always, of course, oversampling the left. So if the left beats the CBC audience, the CTV audience, if they're loving Doug Ford, we know obviously it's fake, because the Conservatives aren't loving him because he's not standing up for people's freedoms.
Love, light, truth, and freedom. What in the world does that mean?
It means
Exactly what
exactly what it says, literally.
Do you think you're getting that from this current government at Queen's Park?
No, definitely not.
tell me.
Here, yes.
You voted for Doug Ford in 2018?
Yep.
And will you vote for him again in 2022?
As of now, he's lost my support.
It's funny, every time he comes in, I'm like, he's just like a shitty dad. You know, it's just like, I'm all burned up and or you guys, and then he switches the next day or the next moment. Everything that comes out of his mouth, I don't take fully to heart. I don't know about his approval rate. I mean, he is kind of an appeaser. He just appeases everyone, which is maybe the problem, that he's not sticking to his conservative roots.
When you give free money to people and you actually take away their initiative or even passion or inspiration or energy to do anything, you will create a lazy society. And then you just keep feeding the narrative and all the resources to maintain it. Well, people will actually probably might like this lifestyle for the short term without realizing that they're actually being cooked to death. Because you know how you cook a frog? You put a frog in the very cold water alive, and you just increase it slowly over time until it's fully cooked and it never jumps out. And that's exactly what this government is doing.
Hey guys, how you doing? I don't mean to distract you, but I noticed you're getting a haircut. This was like verboten for the last several months, but I guess you needed a haircut, sir?
Absolutely. I was starting to look like I was looking like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
That's actually a pretty good impression.
We're hunting for ghosts.
And ma'am, are you a barber or a hairdresser by profession?
I studied hair, so I'm bringing back one of my old skills. I haven't cut hair for 10 years, but everyone needs it right now, so I'm happy to help.
I'm very thankful for the haircut myself.
Just a week ago, doing this would have maybe by law the police would have given you one of those $880 Wuhan virus social distancing tickets.
Yeah, this is in protest, so I'm in the clear. There we go.
You know what painful for me? I can imagine my father would die in hospital without seeing me. That's what I feel so like as an advocate for my patients. See, so frustrated that how patients, old patients in a hospital, they cannot see their loved one before they die.
What about when we don't have the money coming in and we can't fund the hospitals, and what deaths or illnesses will result from that, right? The economy and health are not mutually exclusive.
The social isolation is probably worse than all the other health consequences of COVID. Humans need to interact, humans need touch, humans need exercise, humans need fresh air. And what are they telling everybody? Stay home, don't exercise, don't interact, don't have any touch with anybody, and eat garbage.
And bake a cherry cheesecake.
Oh, we can't forget the baking of the cherry cheesecake now. That's number one priority right here. The government's number one priority is making sure that every Canadian has enough cherry cheesecake to eat during this crisis.
I really want this lockdown to end. It's costing people's lives. Their businesses are being destroyed, and there's no need for it.
Then why is this man who ran in 2018 on the campaign slogan, Ontario Open for Business, why is he leading a province that's ranked 10th out of 10 on provinces in terms of economic openness? Can you make sense of this?
False advertising. That's all it is, false advertising. He got in on a promise that he's never committed to. He's the biggest train wreck Toronto has ever had.
Where's all those patients? They were waiting for hip replacement, for knee replacement. Where are they? They're waiting. Some of them, of course, dying, right? From heart problem. It's make very, very frustrated.
What would you give Doug Ford on a scale of 1 to 10 then?
2, to be nice.
Well, I don't think it would even be on a scale of 1 to 10. Honestly, you look at other administrations and other countries, they're going back to life. They've already gone back to life.
You mean it's 0 or into the negative territory?
I would say into the negative territory. I mean, Ontario, it's kind of like, and the rest of the world are like, Ontario, get a clue.
0.
In terms of his integrity and what he stands up and believes in as a conservative, I give him a 1.
Doug Ford is out of his mind. He totally is.
He has no right to do this.
Norm, if you were to give Doug Ford an approval rating on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give him?
Mine is 20.
Geez, that might be the harshest answer yet.
It's an honest one, though.
You know, it's not fair. I mean, this is also, like, in his defense, can you imagine having this dropped on your lap?
Few people have said 0. Are you going to go that far?
Of course, yeah. 0, maybe crossed 0 to minus. It's incredible. I vote for him, but I'm sorry for.
It's obvious he'd get a 1 out of 10. He's doing everything he's told. He's done everything the opposite of what he's told everybody he's going to do. His slogan was "Open Ontario." Yeah. Okay.
So no rating at all.
No, I would say yes.
What do you give him?
Oh, I'd give him a total 0.
0.
Yeah, he's a liar. He's using data to manipulate and pursue an agenda. I don't trust him. He's not trustworthy, and neither any of those bureaucrats.
Folks, you know we here at The Rebel love to tell you the other side of the story. It's just that some people don't want the other side to get out, and they react violently, if you can believe it. That's why if you can go to journalistdefensefund.com, that's journalistdefensefund.com. If you're able to, please make a donation so we can hire security to protect us as we endeavor to bring you the other side of the story.